Are you filling your jar with the right things? Ever had one of those days that's gone before your first cup of coffee even cools? You blink and suddenly it's evening. Emails, errands, text traffic, and somehow the stuff that really matters, that gets pushed to tomorrow. Again, if that sounds familiar, let me tell you a story about a glass jar, a bunch of rocks, and a choice you make every single day. It happened on a rainy Thursday night in a high school gymnasium somewhere in the Midwest. A group of people gathered for a community workshop on productivity and purpose. Think folding chairs, coffee in styrofoam cups, jackets dripping by the door. At the front stood an older speaker, sharp eyes, kind smile, beside a simple folding table. On the table, a big empty mason jar. Next to it, 3 containers, one with large rocks, one with pebbles, one with fine sand. And at the end, a bottle of water. He tapped the jar. This jar represents your life. These rocks, pebbles, and sand, that's everything you're trying to fit into it. Let's see what happens. He poured in the sand. It slid down with a whisper and settled into a smooth layer. Then the pebbles. He gave the jar a shake to help them settle. But when he tried to fit in the large rocks, no dice. They wouldn't fit. He twisted, pressed, nothing. He looked up, one eyebrow raised. Interesting, right? A woman near the front. Rachel, a nurse who worked crazy long shifts, spoke first. So, if we fill our day with all the small stuff, there's no room left for the big stuff. Exactly, he said. Then he emptied the jar and started over. This time he placed the big rocks in first, one by one. Thunk, thunk, thunk. Next, the pebbles. They slid right into the spaces between the rocks. Then the sand trickling into the smallest gaps. Finally, the water. It flowed in and filled every last space. He held up the jar, now full to the top, and the room went still. So what's the takeaway? He asked. A teenager in the back raised his hand. There's always room for more. Laughter. The speaker grinned. Not quite. The lesson is, if you don't put the big rocks in first, you'll never get them in at all. He pointed. The rocks, that's what truly matters: your health, your family, your growth, your purpose. The pebbles. Those are the important but not urgent things: work tasks, errands, bills. And the sand, that's the noisy social media gossip distractions. The water, that's life's curveballs, unexpected stuff that always finds a way in. The gym went quiet, but it was the kind of quiet where people were doing the math in their heads. Rachel raised her hand again. I've been saying I want to start running again. I never find the time. Is that a big rock? If your health matters to you, then yes, 100%. And dinner with my daughter before she heads off to college. He nodded. Biggest rock there is. She looked down, smiling softly. You could see the exhaustion lift just a little from her face. The speaker stepped forward. Here's where most of us mess up. We start our day with the sand. Text messages, breaking news alerts, whatever feels urgent in the moment. We think we'll get to the important stuff later, but later shows up already full. He tapped the jar. You can't control everything that pours into your day, but you can choose what you put in first. Rachel spoke again, almost to herself. So I scheduled the run before I check emails. Dinner with my daughter before I take on the overtime. Big rocks go in the calendar first. He smiled. Bingo? Not after. First. He invited everyone to whisper their big rocks under their breath, as a promise to themselves. You could feel the energy shift. One guy mouthed something about writing his novel. Another woman closed her eyes, maybe thinking about someone she needed to call. A moment ago, it was just a rainy Thursday. Now, it felt like New Year's Eve. Then the speaker did something unexpected. He pointed to the tiny gap at the top of the jar. See that? Even with all the big stuff, there's still room. A little space for spontaneity, for joy, for a walk at sunset. The point isn't to pack your life to the brim. It's to fill it intentionally. When the session ended, people didn't rush for the exits, they lingered, thoughtful. Rachel stood near the front, eyes still on the jar. You know, she said, I always thought time management was about squeezing more in, but maybe it's about choosing what gets honored. The speaker nodded. Time isn't found, it's made. Put the big rocks in first, and you'll be surprised how the rest finds a place. Outside, the rain had slowed to a drizzle. Streetlights lit up the wet pavement. Rachel pulled out her phone. opened her calendar and blocked off 3 evenings, one for a run, one for dinner with her daughter, and one just to read. Not because she had time, but because it mattered. As she walked to her car, she imagined a mason jar on her kitchen counter, next to the coffee pot. A daily reminder, big rocks first. Here's the truth the jar teaches and life confirms: your day will always fill up. The question is, with what? If you leave it to chance, the small stuff will steal your time. But if you choose with purpose, the things that truly matter will have space, and everything else can settle around them. So tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, ask yourself, what are my big rocks today? Put them in first. Guard them. Honor them. Because a meaningful life doesn't come from having more time. It comes from giving your best time to what matters most. Don't wait for a free day. Make room for a meaningful one. Put the big rocks in first.